Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the Commission. I'm Matt Garbark, the Director for the Department of Public Works for Baltimore City. I am happy to be here with my team today. I'm here with Deputy Director Alan Robinson, as well as Bureau Head Steve Sharkey, and other members of our team who will be able to answer questions. The solid waste, if that was just the quick sort of bit, this is the big piece here. This is the $500 million worth of capital improvements through our revenue bonds. And with that, I went through the mission and the vision again. It is the same as it was for solid waste. The org chart has not changed in the last half hour. So if you don't mind, and neither has our operating budget for this year, unless I know something different. And the capital budget, as I mentioned during solid waste, the two is the same, 29 million, and then 533.7 million for our Bureau of Water and Wastewater. And very briefly, I'll sort of talk about, because I know there's new members on the commission, just give a very brief overview of our system. We have three different utilities: a water utility, a wastewater utility, and a stormwater utility. And by that, I mean that each one of them are run independently. On your water bills for city residents, you will see water charges, wastewater charges, and then a stormwater management fee. Each one of those fees goes into a separate enterprise fund, and only those funds can be used to operate and maintain and improve the systems. So starting with our drinking water, Baltimore City, over a century ago, bought land, surveyed, and built three large reservoirs up in Baltimore and Carroll counties. The Pretty Boy at the northernmost portion of the county, Loch Raven over in the Towson Parkville area, and then the Liberty Reservoir over in West Baltimore County and into Carroll County. From there, the water flows from from Liberty, it flows to our west side plant at Ashburton Filtration Plant, and from Loch Raven, the water flows over to one of two water filtration plants, Montebello Plants 1 and 2. So we have three filtration plants. Ashburton is our baby, we call it. It was created in 1956. And when you're looking at this system, that is very young compared to some of our assets. We have one raw water pumping station. By raw water, that means untreated water. That is water that is right from the reservoir or from the Susquehanna River. We actually have a 35-mile pipe that allows us to draw water from the Susquehanna River if we need to. We have not done that since 2002. Our reservoirs have been very stable for that. Once it gets through the filtration plants, it goes into several different pumping stations. We have 20 pumping stations. It pumps the water to 5 different pressure zones. And we serve in the area, not just Baltimore City, but Baltimore County, Howard County, Carroll County, Harford County, and we did serve Anne Arundel County. However, they no longer buy our water. We actually buy a small bit of water from them for areas in the south portion of the city in Curtis Bay. Once it goes through the pumping stations, we have 3,800 miles of water mains within the city and the county. Within the city itself, there is about 1,500 miles. There's also 700 miles of public water connections throughout, 9,100 fire hydrants and in the city, and 15,000 in the county. Once the water goes to businesses and residents and enters then into the sanitary system, it flows through 1,500 miles of sewer mains within Baltimore City, and it goes through 8 major wastewater pumping stations and 10 minor pumping stations. Eastern Avenue Pumping Station down at the Inner Harbor is one of our largest ones. It controls and pumps most of the wastewater for the downtown Central Business District over to the Back River Wastewater Treatment Plant. We have the 2 largest wastewater treatment plants in the state of Maryland. Back River is the largest plant that is actually located in Baltimore County. And then the Patapsco Wastewater Treatment Plant, which is located in Baltimore City in the Wagner Point area of the city. And our last utility, our youngest utility, created in around 2012, 2013, is the stormwater utility. There are 5 watersheds, which are all shared by the region: Baltimore County, Howard County, Baltimore City. We have 116 miles of streams in the city and 59 miles of coastline. Over 1,100 miles of storm drain pipes run throughout the city. And we have over 52,000 storm drain inlets, 27,561 manholes, and over 1,700 outfalls into the waterways. One thing I will note is a lot of old cities have what's called a combined sewer, sanitary and storm sewer system. Our builders, our founders were very forward-thinking and separated them. We have a separate storm system and a separate sanitary system. The problem that you'll hear as Mr. Sharkey gets into it is the sanitary system is so old, there are cracks which allow for inflow and infiltration, which leads to backups and leads to our consent decree as we've talked about it. So this is an extremely comprehensive interconnected system. It's served us very well. For a long period of time, we did not invest as a city or region as we should have. A lot of those are coming back to bite us now, and that is why we have been making all of the improvements and the investments that we have. With that, I will turn it over to Mr. Sharkey.
Good afternoon, Honorable Board. Steve Sharkey, Bureau Head, Water and Wastewater. Thank you for having me. Just want to briefly mention a couple of my other team members. So we've got Yvonne Moore-Jackson. She just joined us. We stole her. She's the best. She used to be the Bureau Head at Solid Waste. Now she's our Chief Administrative Officer. We have Paul Sion, Deputy Bureau Head. Tim Wolf, Chief of Engineering and Construction. And Blake's hiding back there. He's Deputy Chief Engineering and Construction. So we've got a lot of good players over here showing up. So just thank you, Director, for kicking us off. Love it when you throw in some history tidbits about the system, since it is such a rich history and so old, so which is, of course, where we're working here. So just a quick piece on asset management. We have water and wastewater facilities, computerized maintenance management systems. They track work orders, repairs, and costs. We have asset management staff using GIS and other data systems that are tailored to the problems that they're working on, and it's all done to elongate the life of facilities. So we are looking to try our best to get the best bang for the buck and be as strategic as possible, and like I said, as possible in our future investments. At the same time, a lot of times things will break unexpectedly and we will be there, and we can even mention that later. So here is a map of water facilities. So numerous facilities. So if you want to go up to the Sparks pumping station, and we even have something up at the Susquehanna River at the Deer Creek pumping station. There's hiking near there. I went hiking there like a month ago. Very nice. So we have just like the biggest real estate holder in the state probably, or one of. So just a lot going on. Huge system. If you haven't been to the places, and of course we can invite you out to either a water tour or a wastewater tour, it's really something you don't pick up on until you're actually there and seeing, oh wow, if I go to this wastewater treatment plant, I need a car to drive around it. It's so big. Like these are huge locations with just huge industrial operations. Here's wastewater facilities. So again, some large interceptors to bring things to Back River and Patapsco and ferry it to and fro from the city and the county. Stormwater facilities, again, a fair amount of stormwater facilities throughout the city. Just overall, quick look at Baltimore City drinking water system. We have probably the greatest reservoirs, or one of the best sets of reservoirs in America. So they really planned ahead, bought those reservoirs way back when, and so we pumped that water source down. Enters the treatment plant facilities, either Ashburton or Montebello, to be clean, treated, pumped. It's pumped out to storage tanks and held there until it gets out to you and your house. So happy to continue to provide you clean water. So it's it's intriguing because I told my kids about this job, and I said, I got this job, and I'm in charge of the water and the wastewater. And they're like, we don't know what that means. And I said, well, there's pipes, and we do all these things. And I say, they just still think it's magic. They don't understand everything that goes into getting water into my house or the sewage leaving the house. But it is a process, and it is amazing. Baltimore City wastewater treatment system, again, sewage will come from the residential homes and businesses, travel through mainline sewers and pumping stations. It will go from the pump stations out to the treatment plants, and the clean water is discharged into water supply sources at Patapsco and Back River. Overall, top one's more interesting, shows the CIP requests for the upcoming year. Again, pretty robust, 220 million for wastewater, 219 for water, 33 for stormwater, so quite the amount, and a lot of multi-year projects to maintain this aging system and upgrade it to meet new regulatory requirements. Looking over here at some of the CIP projects, we have a map. It's just a lot. It's almost overwhelming to show where everything is, just because we have so many things going on at each time. So go into the wastewater utility. So we're going to go wastewater, storm, water, kind of get into it a little bit more. So one of the biggest pieces behind our wastewater work is that we are under 2 consent decrees within the wastewater fund. So we are in a facilities consent decree to upgrade and make the plants all work. We are also in a modified consent decree to make sure that the pipes work and that they have enough flow and that they do not overflow. So the system was originally designed eons ago that if a sewage system overflowed or got too full, it would overflow into a local stream. However, obviously times have changed and that's not the best practice, so we've been working to close those overflows over time, and I'll get into that as well. But let me focus on wastewater facilities consent decree. 36 of the 40 items have been completed. We have 4 major capital projects still to complete and complete that one. So that's moving along, and we're working hard there. The plants are working very well. This is showing suspended solids, which is an indicator of how well the plant is doing overall. We're really hitting our numbers. We've hit our permit numbers for both plants last year, and are really doing well at Back River, so much so that they're giving money back. The state is giving us grants for high performance there, and Back River is looking even better this year. So we're keeping under the numbers. We're making sure that we provide the wastewater and hit the permits and beat the permits as best as possible. So MCD, modified consent decree, again, this is the overall look where we are doing lots of things to fix all the pipes in the system to ensure that they have enough ability to flow into the treatment plants without overflowing. We have an initial deadline for December 31st, 2020. Again, this keeps on being a moving target over time. We posted for public comment on September 21st, 2025, updated plans. We have made improvements to reduce inflow infiltration, various system hydraulic capacity, continued focus on closing all dry weather SSOs, that's the sanitary sewer overflows when the system gets overflowed and filled out. And we're working closely with Baltimore County on hydraulic monitoring so that we can work closely with them. So the system is, we take in a lot of sewage from the county into our plants. The relationship has been improving in terms of really working together on the sewage incoming. We had a revised plan that we promulgated on September 1st. Plans and comments responses came December 15th, and we are looking for a new deadline because of the additional work to make sure that everything gets closed. We're looking at this because of customer affordability, a balanced plan completion, financial constraints, adaptive management approach. So we can also, as we get to the questions time, Paul can really get deep into this because this is a very important piece of what we do for the wastewater facilities. So overall, we're looking at a large reduction over the last few years in the number of SSOs, which is the goal of the consent decree, and a large decrease in the number as well as the volume of coming out of them. So a couple items. We've got, there's many, so we could have done this for like 16 hours straight of talking about projects. But Phase 2, Herring Run Sewer Shed Inflow and Infiltration Reduction, Area A, estimated completion May 2027. SC 1020, CCTV inspection of sanitary sewers in Southern Baltimore City. A lot of the consent decree is actually us going and inspecting the sewer lines to make sure they're okay, and then repairing the ones that we find issues. So a lot of times we kind of set it and forget it in the past. Obviously, we can't set it and forget it. We have to inspect our assets and repair them.
Steve, to what extent are these third-party contractors, and to what extent are they city employees? I just don't really know what the balance is.
This.
I mean, I don't know, across the portfolio. I mean, I'm just trying to get a sense of it.
That really depends on what we're doing. So for the capital projects are primarily third-party vendors and contractors. So the actual construction and contract work is primarily done by them, or nearly all. We have inspectors, inspection staff. We have some contract inspection staff. We have a lot of in-house inspection staff. We are working to fill every vacancy on the inspection staff side as possible. We still have about 10 inspector vacancies left. We've been making a real push on that. So most of the work that we're going to talk about today is contractor work.
And I know some are smaller and some are larger, but at any given time, how many third-party contracts are you administering?
6, 7, you know.
6, 7?
CCTV inspection.
No, I mean, he's talking about
No.
overall.
No, the real contracts. Yeah, the work being done.
Okay,
I thought you were making a 6, 7 joke like a kid, like my kids.
Across the utility, it's a couple hundred.
Yeah, I
I
would
mean,
assume, yeah. It's just-
Hundreds of contracts at any given time. Yeah, for sure. It's
Thanks.
hundreds. Thought you made.
I thought
My kids would have loved that, Tim.
I know that.
No, it's a vast portfolio, and it's vast. It's a lot of contractors, especially on the capital side. So, and we're working. Actually, talked about the support of estimates. Really working to ensure that as many consultants and engineers as possible to work in-house are in-house. That's going to take a couple years, but we want to keep continuing to build towards that. I think there's always a place for contractors and consultants, but we want to keep the right balance so that enough people are in-house knowledgeable to really know the work directly, and which is, we're building the staff, and we got some new staff members with some real expertise, and you can see them sitting over there. So we'll continue to grow that staff. Yeah, this is another interesting one, smaller than the larger. So wastewater facilities design. So we are designing a large number of repairs and replacements. So even though a lot of times we're talking about the consent decree, the facilities consent decree, most of the facilities consent decree work was at the plants. So before the plants, a lot of the wastewater ends up going through pumping stations. So, and you might not even know where these are. So sometimes if you drive under 95 on Macoma Street, there's a little pumping station. Eastern Avenue is the biggest one. That's where the Public Works Museum, that is a working pumping station, and it is amazing. So there's a lot of these pumping stations, as well as the wastewater plants that need a lot of repairs upcoming. Some other work in progress. Back River Scale House, electric distribution system at Patapsco, scum collection system at Patapsco, egg-shaped digester at Back River. That is a big one. You'll see the egg-shaped digesters. Those help digest solids and will lead to a lot of cost savings. We have been not digesting, which means we have to find other ways to remove the solids that come into our system. And then renovations more renovations at Patapsco. Here are the requests. So just, you can look at all of them. We got a ton. just a lot going on. That's just for wastewater facilities. Recent highlight, Dundalk Pumping Station. We're working on this, hopefully construction next year. And we'll jump over to the stormwater utility. So a lot of the stormwater utilities is based on the MS4 permit, and this is a permit that the state and following the Clean Water Act gives us to have impervious surfaces and whatever we're discharging into the streams of the city. So we have to, over time, not just us, the whole state, improve the quality of water that runs off of our streets, sidewalks, curbs, alleys, etc. So we have a large number of small projects upcoming, some medium projects upcoming, as well as a large number of urgent stream repairs, urgent storm repairs that come up. So we have a couple of shovel-ready projects that will need to be improved upon to ensure even better environmental sustainability over time. But we also have a fair amount that are in the bid construction phase. And then we have a couple in the planning design phase. But the ones that are upcoming are going to be outfall improvements. So we have a lot of environmental site design projects.
Steve, what was the on-hold parenthetical for?
So we have to work closer with Recreation and Parks on these to improve our agreement on the amount of tree cover and changes there. Also, Maryland State implemented an act last year that requires increased public notification and a couple other things so these need to be juiced back up or kind of fixed a little bit on the end. So shovel-ready wouldn't be the accurate term at this point in time.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So where are they in the capital budget, for example? Like those projects that have been in the, on deck?
They're not this upcoming year.
Are they in the budget in out years?
Yeah, they're in previous years.
Or in previous years?
Yeah,
This is stuff that we've already funded.
Right, we funded that's not been spent and because of these reasons.
correct,
I see. Gotcha.
correct. And this is focused on stormwater.
Understood. Okay.
So we have environmental site design projects. This is, a lot of little locations where we remove
Impervious areas, do pump out.
Yeah, I was about to, impervious areas. So, yeah, of course. So bump outs, some people like them, some people don't, but they are best practice.
I have a question. So
Yeah.
About those sort of small projects, the environmental site design, impervious removal. Those are projects that have like big community impact. And so I'm wondering how this sort of sites are selected or how that's coordinated and where that work happens.
So a lot of times, we're looking for sites that have the best bang for the buck. So a lot of times, it'll be, say, and again, a lot of these there's not a lot of opportunities necessarily. So if we are able to find a school or some other site that has a lot of impervious surface that wants to remove, that would be the first. But we also are looking at other places where it would work and be put into. We're looking for larger spots. We need more square footage. So sometimes we'll add a small thing here or there, but a lot of times it's got to be near a stream or some other thing that makes it worthwhile. So it's not really as cost effective as we like just to go neighborhood by neighborhood to hit a bump out, hit a bump out, hit a bump out. So sometimes a community will request and it can come in with a DOT or another project, but we do need as big a spots as possible to make it as cost effective because we need more space for credits. This is what's coming up, outfall stabilization. So if you go hiking in various parts of the city, you'll see a lot of these little outfalls that are, say, from a street. Yeah, this one goes from a street out, and then this will chute, the water will come out there into a stream. A lot of these have been neglected over the years. Some of them are on private property, but then move into our streams. So we have some large projects to repair multiple outfalls, which requires, planning and design, but also a fair amount of right of entries into the locations. Also drainage improvements, so we've got completed projects. We are in the planning design phase for a couple others, 35th and Hillen, Frederick, as well as some SOP enhancements to go from there. So we're working to continue to push these along. Some of these will have very high dollar figures and will have to be engineered so that we can afford the initial work. So one of the largest projects that we've ever done in the stormwater realm is, of course, the Tiffany Run storm drain. So if you guys remember, a couple of years ago, the whole area around the lake got a big hole by it because of a huge storm drain. And that is a huge storm drain. And that also messed with the water pipes, and it was a very massive job. Ended up costing $30 million. But I want to give kudos to the team for keeping the city in water because that's right near a huge pipe that feeds a major portion of the city. That would have been very detrimental if that had taken out the water pipes. Just another highlight, Gwynns Falls drainage at Frederick Avenue. This is a large location that floods once every couple years, but it does flood hard when it does. So we're looking to fund this in upcoming years. And let's see, got a couple of these here. Storm drain inlet, urgent needs stream repair, outfall stabilization, drainage repairs. So we've got a couple projects from the previous years, plus a couple more here coming up. Onto water. So I want to talk about tuberculated mains. This is a tuberculated main. So as mains grow older, they get more, not only do they break, but they also get tuberculated, which means gook sits in them. And if this becomes too much, it can lead to water pressure areas and water pressure issues in areas. And so this is kind of shows over time. So we will do a cleaning and lining on a fair amount of these locations, which means we clean it out, reline the inside to make it, give it another 40 to 50 years of useful life when that happens. Or we may be replacing, which we've been replacing a lot as well. So far this fiscal year, we've replaced 9 miles. We have a goal of 15 miles per year. We did 21.2 last year, so a lot of miles replaced. And we've been focusing on decreasing the breaks or finding locations with low water pressure issues. It's a big project, it's very expensive, but it's needed. We can't, and it would probably be many more miles if the money was available, but we have to, do what we can. And I want to just really thank the team for getting so many miles done over the last couple of years. They have been working really hard.
Mr. Sharkey?
Yes.
Have you mentioned the third-party contractors that do most of this work. You also mentioned the shortfall in inspectors. What are the results that you're seeing in terms of quality control? And does that limit production at all?
No, so we have consultant inspectors when needed, and that's flexed out. So my goal is to get rid of those consultant inspectors as much as possible. So there's never going to be none, but I want it to be a minimal amount. So we have about 10 vacancies to fill. I think maybe we'll have to consider, make next decisions and come up with a financial plan after that. I think maybe 10 more after that. But we don't want to have too many consultants where in the future we don't, there's times that we have more inspectors than work. So that is part of it. And just to also mention about the water main replacement, we also have the first, and I believe only agency to participate in the unbundling process. So we've trained a number of firms, small minority business firms, through one of these contracts where R.E. Harrington, which is one of our big local contractors, came and train 5 smaller contractors to do more of this work. So that's wrapping up, and I think that's a really great program to mention. So here's a couple locations. There's a lot of areas in the city. So Lower Fells Point, Sefton, we're doing, there's a lot of areas ongoing at nearly all times in the city. Also Hunting Ridge, Uplands, and this comes from water revenue bonds. Yale Heights, still working over there. And just a couple water facilities. We got Loch Raven Drive over Rushbrook Culvert. So this is a culvert right outside of the Loch Raven Reservoir that needed to be repaired. That's another good one where we're coming in, repairing what we need to repair, because we do own the reservoirs as well. Also, we didn't even get into the plants that much, but chlorine handling safety improvements, we need to increase so we basically we need to increase or improve through capital our chlorine handling safety, so that's an ongoing capital project. We have to keep on modernizing. I mean, it's really amazing how our forefathers or our pre-engineers really made an amazing system way back when, but that doesn't mean that we don't also need to fix fix the old things, but also upgrade them as we go for safety, because we do not want we want chlorine to be as safe as possible on the plant. Also, Montebello Filtration Plant 1 underground filtered reservoir structural repair. This is actually really dope. So I went to this one, and it felt like the Mines of Moria. This is for the Lord of the Rings fans. It's really like you're walking through some amazing place. Like, this has got this vaulted arches 20 feet above. It's like, we don't build them like that. I don't know, what year do you think they built that to?
For 100 years.
Yeah, it's over 100 years ago. So this was basically a water storage reservoir underneath the reservoir, and it's just outstanding to see. But we had to repair it, of course, so. Also Cromwell Pump Station, which again, more work. Montebello Filter Controls upgrade. There's just a lot of things that age and re-age and age that we continue to repair. We also hit a big one, and luckily I was on vacation at the time. So, so thank you to Tim and Paul for jumping in. A 30-inch water main break, a huge water main break up in on York Road all the way out in the county. So just want to thank everybody. We do have a really excellent urgent needs staff that really jumps on things, and we do work well with contractors in those cases for some of these larger jobs to get out there and repair large breaks like this. We also had a really interesting break, a 40-inch leak right downtown, right at like Charles and Lombard. That was a big pain in the butt, but the crews went around and figured that one out. It was very much a science experiment to figure out exactly what was happening where. So that was a good one. And then another one, just a 24-inch, but we get, those are some of the bigger ones, but there's breaks every day, and we're addressing both through in-house and contractors a large number of breaks. Recent accomplishments, lead and copper rule revisions, just again, want to highlight this real quick. So we've come up with a model to review lead and copper lines. So through the EPA, we have to work with the residents for them to try to survey or attempt to survey their lead lines to see, because many of the houses have lead lines themselves. And so we look for them to do that. So we did that. We came up with a predictive model, and we are finding, using the predictive model to see where to go next to look for. And we got this cool thing called the swordfish, that just kind of looks, it's a tiny little picture that goes in and just basically scopes the line to find if it's lead or not. And then we'll be replacing the ones. Although so far we've been pleasantly, again, knock on the wood, pleasantly pleased with the number of lead lines. So it has not been as much as initially thought. A little bit more on the upcoming year. We got pump controls, more meters, more water main, a couple of water main replacements, some large water main replacements. Also looking in the upcoming years to fix the Montebello laboratory. It is a very old laboratory. The laboratory is somewhat one of the unsung or unknown heroes of DPW. We have chemists, we have biochemists, and they sit there, and as the water comes in, or wastewater, they have to check it. They have to check to make sure it meets state standards. So we actually have state certified labs that do a number of tests. So we also need to keep that going up. So just a lot going on the water side as well. Just a couple highlights: Ashburton water pumping rehabilitation.
Steve, this is a good chance for me to ask you, can you give us a quick update on Ashburton and Druid Park Lake in terms of just where that stands and will it ever be done, those kinds of things?
Admittedly, those things.
Come on up if you don't
Blake.
mind.
Admittedly, those projects are dragging a little bit for
A quick
Druid.
intro, if you don't mind, of yourself, just for everybody.
Introduce myself?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm sorry. My name's
Sorry.
Blake Suka. I'm the Deputy Chief of the Office of Engineering and Construction. So Druid is slightly ahead of Ashburton. They just finished the paving out there recently. We have to do some final walkthroughs, but that park should be opening within the next month or so. Ashburton, unfortunately, the contractor didn't quite finish everything in time for winter. Some of the work that he has remaining is weather dependent. So that one will probably be finishing in 3 to 4 months before we can actually open the park. But the facilities that we installed, the underground tanks, they've been completed for some while, and they are in operation. Been in operation for a year, 2 years.
I mean, I will say the Druid Hill Park one looks terrific. Like, we've used the lake loop, I forget, the trail, whatever you want to call it. And I've seen the unfinished park next door. It's good to know it's going to be open soon, but just trying to get a feel for what the schedule is, so thanks.
No, those are very fair questions. Those contractors have been dragging on in those. We've been doing everything we can to urge them across the finish line.
Yeah, Blake's been using some strongly worded letters and meetings and such, but yeah, I'll leave. I won't get too deep into the contractor there. So
Actually, I'd like to build on that.
Yeah,
because
please.
I wanted to compliment you on the Guilford Reservoir. Because, in fact, in terms of the landscaping and the complementary architecture, you did a great job. And the same thing's happening in these other places. I have a question, though, about Druid Hill Park. As this transfers, you guys have provided this water quality infrastructure, but it is a reservoir in a park. And I guess your contract will be wrapping up, but there will be future improvements as a part of the total scope of work that'll be Rec and Parks' responsibility. And I understand we're going to run into some VE issues, and I was wondering if you could sort of touch base on some of that.
So you said V what issues?
VE, value engineering?
Oh, you mean from their work?
As it continues out of your department and into Rec and Parks, I think we got some budget gaps to cover.
Yeah, well, just to start, we do not have money for the budget gaps for the recreation facilities, just to
I
be
know, I
clear
wanted to
about
hear
that piece.
get
So,
that clear.
yeah, I mean, they're going to have certain aspects. We will have certain water facility infrastructures that we will maintain and keep as best as possible in concert with Recs and Parks. But yeah, they have it's a bold plan. And, we definitely want to work as best as possible with Recreation and Parks, but that does not mean we have the funds to use on those, on the recreation facilities.
So DPW's position is Rec and Parks, deal with it.
Well, I mean, we can't use water funds to
Yeah.
do,
No, I hear you.
to do,
Our infrastructure,
yeah,
that's appropriate.
yeah. So it's not, we want to be partners, but we have our covenants that we have to follow. Yeah, go ahead, Tim.
I have one thing to it, just, you mentioned value engineering, yeah. Tim Wolf, Chief of the Office of Engineering and Construction. value engineering, as we were approaching the end of the project, Brecken Parks is moving up with their design. So we did coordinate some of the kind of completion, final grading, stormwater facilities. So we worked together to minimize rework. And so we, worked with their plans and our contractor, and we made some adjustments. So when it's handed off, some of the things are in line with what their ultimate plan is. So there was some coordination.
There always will be.
Yeah, just to mention that. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Also, meter replacements. I know it just seems like yesterday. Life goes by quickly. We'll need to continue to invest in updating meters over time. So it won't be a large hit the way the Baltimore was, which I guess was, what, 2012? Is it that long ago? Yeah. It seems like yesterday. So just also some policy issues and partnerships. So there's going to be a couple hot items in Annapolis. One of those will be PFAS. PFAS testing at reservoirs as well as PFAS at wastewater facilities. So there's quite a bit of talk. It's a national conversation about these PFAS or forever chemicals as they come into our system, especially into our wastewater. So we're going to be working to make sure that we can afford and do what we need to do to provide the cleanest water. So we'll be working to do that. Also, just want to mention, shout out to Marco. Marco is the head of the DPW's Equity Committee, and we've got the #1 best equity committee in the city. So Marco meets monthly all across the city and really gives a lot of teaching and learning to the group. So, I mean, just to say, our equity committee is better than yours. So, that's questions, and I'll tag team to my folks as we need it.
Thanks. There may be others. Let me ask you, because and the commission may know, but there's a public hearing. Could you talk a little bit about the interrelationship of the counties to the city in terms of water supply, what our responsibilities are, and combine that, if you would, with just a few comments about the new or second 2.0 version of this task force that's looking at potential water authorities, all of those related issues?
Yeah, so I would say that the way that regional water works in Baltimore is unique and intriguing and interesting. And I learn something new every day. We are the owners as Baltimore City of the water system. And water and wastewater even has a lot of nuances, the difference between them. So we own the water system. We own the water pipes for the city and the county. Well, not even completely that, but we have a lot more control over the water side, so we provide water services. They are still in charge of repairing their own pipes out in the county. Not repairing, but long-term capital projects for the water side. But they are pretty much what'd you say?
They're still a customer.
They're a customer. Yeah, so they're a customer. Yeah, fair enough. Jump on up, Alan. So they're a customer. They have an agreement. The agreement was written when they had 200,000 people and we had 900,000. The committee, it has changed since. Yeah, go ahead.
Task force?
Well, we're about to get into the task force.
No, just
Steve was talking a little bit about what our role is in managing the infrastructure, and then we're going to answer a question around the task force itself, what that may look like.
So we, correct me or stop me if I've said any of this stuff, but it's very nuanced. So the city built the system itself for its sole use a century ago when this was the large population center down here, the manufacturing center, and Baltimore County was largely a rural agrarian area. That has shifted, and it actually began in the 1920s when they created the Metropolitan District Act, which established the Metropolitan District of Baltimore County. There's actually something called the URDL, the Urban-Rural Demarcation Line. Anything within the URDL is able to be used to use city water. So what happens is the county actually makes the capital improvements. They make, reline, replace The pipes, they then turn them over to the city. The city then provides metered water to county residents. Our agreement with the county, which it dates from 1972, says that the county as a whole is our customer. However, the county has given us authority to charge their residents directly. So at the end of the year, what we do, it's a process called the true-up process, where we tabulate all of our operating costs, and then we look at flow data. How much was used in the county, and then on the sewer side, the same thing, how much came from the county. We then allocate the cost based on that proportion. If the cost is more than what we collected from county residents, the county then sends us a check. If it's not, then that goes into fund balance to be used the next year. The county makes it up for any shortfalls the next year by adjusting their rates for the following year. For Howard County, we provide, for Howard County, we provide wholesale water to them. So it's finished water that we provide through 4 transmission mains. They then take that and meter it themselves. So it's pretty straightforward. There's 4 large meters that basically count, that compute how much water Howard County uses, and they pay directly based on that. Carroll County has the ability to take water right out of the Liberty Reservoir, right up in Carroll County. It doesn't go through any of our assets. So there is a meter up there that is just read, and we charge them based on that. And then Harford County has also what's called raw water. They actually take it and reverse pump it down. It comes down to the plant, and we reverse pump it up the 35-mile pipe for Harford County to use. Again, we know how much water is being pumped up there, and we're able to charge them based on that as well.
Thanks. Can you comment on the Task Force 2.0?
Yes, sir. Had the first meeting last night. The task force was assembled. There are 5 representatives from the mayor, 3 representatives from Baltimore County, a member of the Maryland State Senate, a member of the Maryland House of Delegates, 2 members appointed by the governor, and the chair is chosen jointly between the mayor and the county executive. The chair is Comptroller Bill Henry. Last night, the task force decided to vote on a vice chair. That is Delegate Dana Stein from Baltimore County. There was a lot of overview of this. We will be procuring, the commission will be, the task force will be procuring the services of a consultant to help with this. I do want to note importantly, it was unanimously decided that the task force will not be looking at any sort of authority, that the task force will be looking simply at governance and procedural changes, not actually changing any ownership of the assets or any changes in debt service or any of that. It was deemed to be just too much. There'd be billions of dollars that would have to change hands. So it's only going to be looking at governance. This includes potentially different oversight committees, advisory committees, other sort of things that have more of a regional focus on it.
Do you see any of that having an impact on the capital budget in a meaningful way, or anything that we're talking about here?
So one of the issues that has come up more than anything else is the difference in how county residents and city residents are billed for their utilities. The county, we only bill them for their water. The county puts their wastewater on their property tax bill. Our bill is everything: water, wastewater, and stormwater. The concern has always been, is the county paying their share? Is the city paying their share? Are the other regions paying their share? The way the agreements function now, there are very specific ways of how we compute what the counties owe. That then translates into what we then bill them. And it may have worked 50, 60 years ago. As the populations have shifted and the demands and the needs, that may not be the case. I say all that to say that the revenue model for the utility is likely going to be something that the task force will look to discuss about, is there ways to get better revenue on a regional perspective to make sure that the system as a whole functions better, because the sewer system's all connected in the county with ours, same with the water system. and we receive sewage for treatment at the other regional localities as well.
Thank you. Very, very helpful. Okay, colleagues, questions for the department? Hearing none. Councilwoman, I think you wanted to speak or ask a few questions.
I can't see anybody with the computer in here, so I'm going to have to step aside. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. Thanks for giving me a little bit of time. I actually have questions on all the presentations we got today, but I'm not going to talk about that. I'm also, just to back up on, thank you, back up on the on solid waste real quick. I'm happy to answer any questions, not right now, but whenever you have any around the Assistant Street Task Force. So I'll just leave it at that. The specific thing I wanted to talk about is related to stormwater. The director and the staff talked about the really just totally amazing work that was done to address the sinkhole. And I don't know if any of you got a tour, but it was pretty amazing to go down. And I think the director was very upset with me because I went through there without a helmet on and then posted photos about it. But it was really, truly amazing to see what was really underneath there, what was happening, and also just the real amazing work that the teams have done. And it took a while, but I hope you all got a chance to go around the lake after it opened that day. But it seemed like the entire city was there, not just to celebrate the opening, but what a really, truly amazing work of city government at its best, was working. So it was pretty great. A lot of times we've been hearing that sinkhole was the cause, or the compromised pipe was the cause of the flooding on 35th and Hillen. That is not the case. 35th and Hillen has been flooding for decades. I have a photo from residents from 1959 of the same flooding that has been happening there for a long time. My first flood that I was aware of when I was running for office in 2019, and that flood was the one where the bus got stuck, right? You all saw that. There were lots of injuries too. People were stuck in the water. The basements were all flooded. It was really horrible, and yet this was not new for the residents, right? So it was that day that we were very clear. I talked with the mayor. We started a process of really understanding what is actually causing this for so long. And I have to say, it was kind of interesting because one of the first things to do was to look at the inlets to see what was really going on with flow, et cetera. And of course, the map still had Memorial Stadium on it. So the whole thing had, all the maps, everything had to be redone. So this has been really an amazing, amazing bit of work. The state has given us $5 million. We did get a BRIC grant before the BRIC grants got shut down. And so we've got a lot of attention to it, which is great. So it's also been tough for the residents because they're expecting us to dig and do something with that area today. They were expecting that 2 years ago. And because of the delays in design and all of that kind of stuff, actually it was more about, some of the money, that has not happened yet. So I was so happy last year that I saw that $50 million was put in the capital budget for FY27 for that project. And we do have a plan for it. It's not to get a bigger pipe in Tiffany Run, which is on 35th Street, because that's the biggest pipe that could possibly be there. And there's a river running through it. So we absolutely need to add another pipe. I can go into the specifics, but I'm just going to tell you that it's going to be expensive. And so I was very excited to see that the entire amount was in there for 2027 so that we could start digging. We've got the design, we're moving forward. But then I got a report, and I have to say that Sarah has been amazing in providing so much data to the City Council. And I'm very excited about all the new things that they're doing in terms of being able to see, spend and all of that. And I know a lot of that has been from conversations here, so I'm grateful. Of course, so when she sends me reports, she knows I'm going to give her questions. And so I did see that the allocation for 35th and Hillen infrastructure was actually moved away from fiscal year '27 and into the out years. And I'm here to ask you to not let that happen. Please make sure we figure out a way to put it back into '27. I get that you just spend a lot of money in my district to fix the sinkhole. I totally get that. I understand it. But I think the quality of life that we're dealing with here with those residents, and I was very tempted to bring Ms. Llewellyn here today, which, we'd be here all day if that was the case. But I think that, just because their quality of life, every time it's about to be a thunderstorm, they move their cars. Luckily, one of the churches says, go ahead and park over here. There is some stories that you're hearing that you've heard from the residents, probably through some of the media, but there was one time where there was Christmas and there was a flood in their living rooms, and it ruined all their, and the fact that the flooding is going to continue to happen because of climate change. So I'm just asking for your clear attention to this particular project. And would really, really support, ask for your support on this project. I also just want to say our water team is amazing. They spend a lot of time in my district because I have a lot of water main breaks, but the whole city does. And so I'm really just very appreciative that they've really also had to take some special attention to some of the stuff happening in my district. So I very much appreciate all of you as well. But hopefully we can really work together on this particular project. I get we have projects all over. My residents have been waiting for a really, really, really long time to address this issue. Thanks.
Councilwoman? Did you want to say something, Mr. Sharkey?
Oh, did you?
Yes,
Question?
please. No, go ahead, please.
Oh, yeah, so, Tam, if you can come up here as well. So I think, as Sarah told me, the numbers were the 50 million was in FY '28, correct, Sarah? Which now it's 36 million in FY '28. So Tim, can you talk about the planned project there?
Yes. Again, Tim Wolf. Yeah, so this is, as the Councilwoman said, a long-going issue. And we did have a consultant come on early on to do some conceptual studies and actually surveying, getting all the storm drain information up to date, run some models, and we came up with some preliminary options. And obviously it comes down to money and affordability. I mean, some of the options were over $100 million. And so what we decided is we needed a more detailed engineering analysis, and can we address this out in the shed as well, inline storage, and phase this approach to get some work started. So we just brought another consultant on, they're underway designing, so we can look at doing some work now to address some of the flooding, because something that's over $100 million that, is going to address most of the problems, not going to be the ultimate solution. So we want to make sure the engineering plan that we have is going to address the issue, it's affordable, and if we start part of the project, we can minimize some of the issues that are out there. So that's kind of why there was a change in the budgeting, as you saw there. But again, we're starting another study and a design, and we'll update that as soon as we get information. It's definitely high on our list.
We're certainly not going to debate this here, although we'll definitely look into it. But I just have a factual question. Is the issue, I think I heard someone say, maybe it was you, Mr. Sharkey, that the money was originally in '28 and it remains in '28, although from 50 to 32, or the councilwoman, I think, said it was in '27 and got pushed back to '28. I just want to get the facts right so we know what we're talking about.
Yeah, so I'm looking at a report from the FY '26 to '31 capital improvement program, and it shows 50 million in FY '28. And then what was submitted as a request for this cycle shows a request for 32 million in FY '28. So in both cases, it's in FY '28, but the amount appears different.
Well, I don't have a professional judgment about that. I guess we should look into it. But we should at least make sure we have the facts straight. And I don't know what the difference is between 50 and 32. I mean, I know mathematically the difference is, but I don't know what the practical difference is, or,
Well, I think part of that was like initial phasing of the work. And then the out years, we just didn't have numbers to put in the out years. So once we get this study and we have an initial phase, we want to move forward with initial phase to mitigate some of the extreme flooding.
Okay. Right. Well, I think we should continue to discuss that. I don't mean to create a, council, if that's okay with you, I don't want to create a public discussion about it here.
That's fine,
Yeah.
I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Other questions? I think we've done other questions. Any other questions? Is there anybody else in the audience who wishes to speak about or ask about this presentation? Seeing none. So if that's the case, let's recess.